Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely pumped to have you here today. Get ready, because we're about to dive into a seriously fascinating explainer on the sheer resilience of the human spirit. Today, we're exploring the platforms and the incredible stories that totally flip the script on what we think human beings are actually capable of. We're stepping into a world where massive obstacles, yeah, they're just stepping stones.
So let's kick things off with this question. What actually happens when incredible athletes completely defy the odds? Have you ever thought about what it looks like when individuals step onto a massive global stage, carrying the weight of intense physical challenges, and just completely blow our minds with jaw-dropping skills? It's not just about, winning a race. It's about literally redefining the limits of human possibility. We're going to take a close look at a global movement that was built from the ground up to shatter those exact stereotypes.
Okay, moving into Section 1, Defying the Odds.
Let's talk about the Paralympic Games. It's this incredible arena where preconceived notions are just left at the door and true strength completely takes center stage. Our source text gives us a pretty brilliant definition here. It describes the Paralympics as a thrilling celebration of resilience and the extraordinary talent of athletes with locomotor, sensory, or intellectual disabilities. But here is the absolute crucial point. The Paralympics goes way beyond just being a standard sports competition. The core purpose here is designed specifically to quell stereotypes and redefine possibilities. It's a powerful platform that basically forces society to recalibrate its expectations and look squarely at ability rather than disability.
Right, let's get into Section 2, the Trailblazer, Dr. Deepa Malik. Now, Dr. Malik is a literal pioneer. She's a Khel Ratna, Arjuna, and Padma Shri awardee, and her life story is just nothing short of extraordinary. She perfectly embodies that whole philosophy of ability beyond disability. But I want to pause for a second and really look at the turning point of her journey. When Dr. Malik was just 29 years old, an awful tragedy struck. She was diagnosed with a spinal tumor, she went through surgery, but as the text points out, misfortune reared its head again. Doctors told her she would be bound to a wheelchair for the rest of her life, completely paralyzed from the waist down. Faced with that monumental, life-altering shift, she made this statement: "I had two choices, squander my life in remorse or transform it to a world of limitless possibilities." I mean, wow. Talk about incredible mental fortitude.
So instead of giving up her passion for sports, she made an active, conscious choice to pivot. You see, she already loved athletics. She'd been a really dedicated swimmer. But rather than let the wheelchair dictate her future, she decided to switch gears into para-athletics. She took all that intense competitive spirit and channeled it into a completely new direction. She actively chose not to let her physical limitations define her potential. Every single day she trained, she was pushing boundaries and challenging those societal perceptions.
And that relentless drive, well, it led to an absolute breakthrough moment at the 2016 Rio Paralympic Games. She secured the silver medal in the shot put event. With that phenomenal achievement, she actually became India's first ever female Paralympics medalist across any sport. No way, right? Looking back, she called it a moment of personal victory, for sure, but also a massive step forward in changing public perceptions about disability on a global scale.
Which brings us to Section 3, 9 gold medals.
While Dr. Malik's story is an amazing testament to individual triumph, the world of adaptive sports is also full of these stunning stories of collective empathy. There's a really famous poem that captures one of these moments perfectly. It's appropriately titled 9 Gold Medals. It sets the scene at the Special Olympics. Picture this. 9 athletes have trained for months, pouring literally their blood, sweat, and tears into this single event. They're waiting at the starting line. The starting gun fires, but immediately, tragedy strikes. The youngest athlete stumbles, loses his balance, and falls hard onto the asphalt, letting out a cry of sheer anguish. Now, in any normal race, the competitors would just, keep running. But the other 8 runners who had trained for so long, they pulled up on their heels. They stopped. One by one, they turned around and went back to help the young boys stand up. Completely forgetting their own individual ambitions, they linked arms.
And the outcome of this is just beautiful. 9 athletes crossed that finish line together, holding hands. Because of their profound empathy, the race actually ended with 9 gold medals being awarded. The text notes there were 9 beaming faces and a massive standing ovation from the spectators that spoke way louder than any words ever could. It's such a powerful reminder that sometimes, lifting someone else up is the greatest victory of all.
Moving right along to Section 4, the 3 Olympic movements.
Now, these incredible moments of individual resilience and collective empathy don't just happen in a vacuum. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the actual architecture of the games that make these platforms possible. Looking at the historical timeline, it's a super fascinating evolution. Obviously, the original Olympics date way back to 776 BC in ancient Greece. But the turning point for adaptive sports was much later, in 1948, right after the Second World War. Sir Ludwig Guttmann organized a sports competition in England specifically for war veterans with spinal cord-related injuries, which was known as the Stoke Mandeville Games. This act of rehabilitation through sports directly paved the way for the very first official Paralympic Games held in Rome in 1960. And shortly after, in 1968, Bharat, or India, made its Paralympic debut, eventually clinching its first medal in swimming in 1972.
To really understand how these platforms operate today, we have to look at their distinct categories and their core purposes. First, you have the Olympics, targeting world athletes with that historic motto, faster, higher, stronger together. Then you have the Paralympics, specifically designed for athletes with locomotor, sensory, or intellectual disabilities. This one is fiercely focused on showcasing their remarkable abilities and questioning those outdated stereotypes. Finally, there's the Special Olympics. This provides vital training and competition for children and adults with intellectual disabilities, operating with a core mission of fostering a better world through acceptance and absolute inclusion.
You know, the spirit of this constant push forward is perfectly captured in the symbol of the Paralympics itself. It's known as the agitos. It actually comes from the Latin word meaning I move. I just love that. It's the perfect representation of the movement, right? Constantly in motion, overcoming obstacles, and pushing right through whatever physical or societal barriers are placed in front of them.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, Limitless Possibilities.
From Dr. Malik's sheer determination to the immense empathy of those 9 athletes, we've really seen what it means to unleash human potential. And I want to bring us back to Dr. Malik's core philosophy here, because this is the ultimate takeaway. She advises, every setback is an opportunity to prove your strength. Disability is not a limitation, it's a unique strength waiting to be unleashed. What's so profound about this is that it isn't just advice for athletes or people with disabilities. This is a life lesson for every single one of us facing a hurdle. It's a reminder that our greatest strengths are so often forged in our absolute most difficult moments.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We all face our own versions of a stumbled start, a fallen race, or just an unexpected life change. The spirit of these movements shows us that the power lies entirely in how we respond. So, I challenge you, how will you turn your next setback into an opportunity to prove your strength? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing your boundaries, and I'll catch you next time.